All right, welcome to another episode of the Straight Up Eagan Podcast, coming to you from Eagan Arms Public House. Today, I'm here with Karl Johnson of Karl Johnson Agency, and we're going to be talking about all things insurance.
Fun,
I have a lot of questions too.
A lot of fun. Great topic.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. Looking forward to hearing more about your business. But before we get started, give me like a background of where you came from, what got you. Are you from Eagan? Family life, all that stuff.
Thanks for having me, Kyle. I grew up actually in the Forest Lake area.
Okay.
That's where I graduated from high school.
Yep.
And then I went to University of Minnesota.
Nice. Gopher, huh?
Played baseball there.
Oh, really?
So I graduated there from the U, and then this is the late 80s, so I'm kind of an old guy, but spent some time in the Twin system, in the minor league baseball system there. And then when I got released, I kind of fell off the bus, baseball bus, and a guy that my dad knew said, "Hey, do you want to try this insurance gig?" And I said, "I'll give you about 6 months worth of it." And that was in 1991.
Yeah.
32 years now coming up. So
Twins won their World Series.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So April Fool's Day 1991 is when I kind of started.
Okay.
And I'm still plugging away. So
now, did you start with your current business, or was it kind of starting out with a different agency? Or
at the time, just getting started, I was what's called a captive agent, meaning they only sell one particular company.
Okay.
And they provided the training for that, so which was really nice to get you kind of on your feet.
Sure.
And then not too long ago, they made us independent agents, which means we can do more than one company and sell that. So but yeah, the captive part is really good for the training to get you kind of on your feet so you can get confidence in it. So
I'm sure there's a lot of big learning curve from not knowing much of anything about insurance to being able to sell it.
Yep. It takes about 4 or 5 years to kind of get under your belt. And once you think you learned it all, then you really haven't.
Yeah.
And it's changing constantly all the time.
Sure.
So it's kind of nice to be in that environment. So yeah. Yep.
Did you have to get any sort of like certifications or anything when it starts just starting up?
Yeah, you go past the license from the Minnesota insurance department. And once you're licensed, you have to maintain 24 hours of continuing education credits. On a 2-year, every 2 years to keep your license updated.
Yep.
And so there's not a lot of schooling involved, but more of the school of hard knocks when you get out there.
Sure. Yeah. I've had a few friends who, went to college for, whatever, but then they end up selling insurance. There's not like an insurance path in college. It's more like, you just gotta do it.
My major actually was a FIED teacher.
Oh, okay.
And coaching.
Yeah. Which
is kind of similar because you're kind of doing the same thing. But when I went to my first full-time kind of doing that, when I was doing my student teaching, I'm like, I don't know if I could be doing this for all this time. So I kind of figured out
figure out something else.
I kind of jumped in with like a little bit of toe in the water, and then kind of gets in your blood, and you kind of still do it. So
yeah, I mean, once you get to learn it, So when did you start your current agency then?
1991.
That was 91. Yep. April Fool's.
Yeah, right? The format of how they did it was from being a captive, meaning you're just one company. So you do one company, kind of like I don't know if I mentioned it, a name, like a State Farm or Allstate. But then they made us differently in the organization 2018. So I become independent, meaning have other companies that I work with, which I love, because as the market changes, you can kind of keep your clients around.
Sure. Yeah. Try to find different prices.
Absolutely. Yep. Because it does change right now. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you talk about giving insurance to people, what are some of the common questions that they have?
Well, in this marketplace recently, it's why are my rates going up?
Yeah.
What's going on out there? I pay all this insurance for all this years, and they still have no claims, and they still raise my rates.
Still going up.
But we do a lot of commercial insurance, and our niche, one of our niche companies that we were is churches and house of worship.
Yep.
And another thing we do is nail salon insurance. We like to do nail salons and hair salons.
Yeah. I found there's a lot of those around Eagan.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. But to answer your question, it's just one of those things where you like to deal with people. I'm a son of a pastor, Lutheran pastor.
Okay.
So that's a people business too there. So
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So owning a business has its ups and downs, as I've gathered interviewed other businesses, but what are some of the benefits? What are some of the things you enjoy about owning your own business?
I love the freedom.
Okay.
I don't have to work for someone other than myself.
Yep.
That's really nice. Your time commitment is something you want to do, and you can really push what you're doing or not, or take some time off.
Sure.
Coming up here in a few weeks, we're going to take our RV to Florida for a couple weeks.
Oh,
so
cool.
that's nice.
Nice.
But
yeah,
as long as I have my laptop, I can still
do some work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Working remotely is a thing now.
And that's part of the thing that gets in your blood is the freedom of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're producing and also, doing what the insurance companies like you do, then your freedom is really kind of cool. So I like that. Yep.
Nice. Do you have staff that work with you, or are you just kind of one man show?
Right now I'm a one man show.
Okay.
Previously I've had staff work with me, but I'm kind of doing it by myself.
Yeah.
Before COVID hit, I was in the Apple Valley office down there.
Okay.
And when kind of the COVID thing came through, I was working at home. I'm like, well, why am I paying this rent?
Yeah. You got to pay for your space.
And
right?
so I moved my office home in fall of 2020 and I really love it. So yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So your office is at home now.
Yep.
So awesome. So that's a big chunk of change you're saving then.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. What are some of the downsides of owning your own business?
Well, I guess some of the downsides might be, some of the things that the insurance companies do as far as, like I said, let's talk about rates increases and changes. But you have to be your own tax person, kind of pay your own taxes, kind of, we're a corporation. So we have to kind of do that kind of thing. And so, but yeah,
all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yep. So you're kind of a owner and own the business. So you kind of run it yourself and you have to be able to work with customer service. And sometimes the service requests are not what you really like to do every day. So
now with your business at home, office at home, do you meet with clients just over the phone, over Zoom?
A little bit of each, a little bit of each. Since we've kind of steered in the last 4 or 5 years to more commercial insurance, I like to go to meet them at their business.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Like this afternoon, I'm going to an account up by Maplewood to meet with them to kind of start the process to look at their coverage.
Okay.
And then go from there. But also a lot of Zoom stuff. Our phone interviews, absolutely.
Yep.
And then email has been kind of a nice thing to have as far as, I used to get a bazillion phone calls a day, and now it's more email driven. So yeah, kind of weird, but yeah.
I do prefer email over phone only because you have the paper trail. Like
absolutely,
I forget some things, I can go back and be like, oh, that's what he said.
Yep, that's what I said. And then and then you're like, oh, sorry, I said that. And I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep.
You said you kind of work with different insurance companies.
Yep.
What are some of those?
Well, on the personal side, we do a lot of Progressive.
Okay.
Safeco Insurance, Travelers Insurance. Progressive Homeowners has got a company called ASI Insurance. American Modern. So about 4 or 5 of those different ones.
So if I was an individual coming to you looking for personal insurance, you would bring up all those rates of those different companies and kind of
take your information down. Take your information down. We have a rater program that goes and searches for you.
Yep.
Give me your vehicles. Give me what you currently have for your insurance coverages, and then we'll find what works out for you. So
sure. And then probably the same for the commercial side too, I'm guessing.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Are those the same companies or those different?
No, different companies. Different companies. Because we're kind of a niche agency in the commercial side for house of worship and the nail salon stuff or the hair salon stuff.
Yep.
We have those companies that we kind of steer them towards. We have four companies. So
okay.
Yep.
Nice. Interesting. Yep. You said you work at the house of worship plus nail salons. Is it mostly them, or do you kind of do any commercial business?
Mostly house of worship and nonprofit stuff.
Okay.
Because as my background as being a pastor's kid, kind of a nice comfort zone for me to be into to do that. If there's other businesses like small contractors, we'll take care of those. We've got companies to handle that.
Okay.
And then my wife has to be in the hair business.
Oh, okay.
So I get some natural transition to that coverages or those businesses as well. So.
Yeah, I'm in kind of the early stages of looking at places to open a small training studio because my career is in personal training. So would that kind of fit in your
we have a company would do that, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool. Kind of off note question here. We're trying to talk my mom into moving down here. She currently lives in Dilworth, has a condo. I'm like, Mom, just move down here, rent your condo, and then have that income and just, chill out down here with the grandkids. But her concern is like, I have to pay if something breaks, I got to pay for it. Or if somebody damages my unit, I got to pay for it. But there's renter's insurance.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And what kind of stuff would that cover?
Renter's insurance, basically, if you're she's becoming a landlord.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more of a landlord type policy where she's the owner. She's not occupying the where we used to live.
Yep.
So it's a different form. You have to change what you're doing.
Okay.
And then you come up with stuff as far as loss of rents or something like that.
Sure.
But it's more of a landlord type policy that you just change the form of, which kind of simple to do. But yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. I can short this episode then.
Because the insurance companies don't like vacancy stuff. They like to make sure you're at your house every day.
Yeah.
And that way, if you have a renter, it's the correct form of policy for those kind of things. So yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yep. Interesting. You mentioned rates going up. What areas are they going up in? What's the cause of that? Are they coming back down?
Property insurance, particularly in the commercial property and also the homeowners policies information. That's I brought something with. Have you ever heard of called the Dureco? I believe I pronounced it right. It's called the Dureco.
Okay.
But that along with the storms like the hurricanes in Florida.
Yeah.
Actually Minnesota, you think of hail states like Texas, Oklahoma. In 22, Minnesota was third as far as the number of hail events in 2022.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So companies are dealing with that. But that's what's driving it because
there's so many more
taking
claims.
A beating. Yep, absolutely. Since 2020, going back to this Dureco thing, it was a 700-mile width.
Whoa.
Straight line winds that came through Iowa.
Okay.
And into Illinois.
Yeah.
And within that straight line winds, there was 25 tornado touchdowns within that. So, and so they're reacting to those kind of events that takes them a couple years to figure out their financials and if they want to tap into the reserves to pay all these claims. And then eventually it trickles down to they're going to charge the homeowner more money.
Yeah. Who may not even live in that same state.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Have you seen auto claims go up or auto premiums go up?
What's recently happened is there's two things in auto insurance and claims in general. There's what's called frequency, meaning how many claims, let's say you have out of 100, there's so many 100 vehicles and there's 14 claims. That would be a frequency.
Yep.
And then there's what's called severity. That means the amount of claims that these claims are. So how frequent they are and then severe they are is what makes it's changing there too.
Okay.
And cost of health insurance or medical care.
Sure.
Body shops as well. So
oh really? Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting.
We're all kind of coming I call it the wake of COVID. I would say that it's just their insurance companies like predictability.
Yep.
And so they're kind of going through a lot of stuff right now. So we're in a hard market cycle and they're trying to get their stuff in line.
So it's not necessarily related to the economy. It's more of the base of the claims and the amount. And that kind of stuff.
On the auto insurance side, people working from their houses a lot.
Yep.
So a lot of times they were changing how they would do their rates, meaning you're not driving a vehicle to work, you're less miles annually, etc. Now people are going back to work.
Sure. So more cars
and
on the road.
People are doing that. So it's kind of like that's what's happening. So
interesting.
Good stuff, huh? Exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when you're watching your premiums go up, kind of want to know why, and
Yep. Absolutely. So it's just one of those things that you feel like as an agent, you're kind of the pickle in the middle of what's going on with the insured and the company, and you do the best for them. That's all you can really do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about life insurance a little bit. So me, 40 years old, got 3 kids, a wife. If I was coming to you and be like, hey, what would work best for me in my situation? What would be some of the things you'd recommend?
Well, I guess the need thing is how much you would need is the number one priority.
Yep. You kind of figure out like what you want.
Yeah. There's an analysis form. We come up to say, you make this much per year, you have a mortgage, you have, how many kids, do you want to provide a college fund for them if you're not around to be there for them? So you kind of evaluate that. Then you go from there, and then that's the need base, that's kind of the priority. And then you determine what's the best way to get there. So that's how I do it, whether that's term insurance, which is buying coverage for your age at a particular time.
Yep.
Or what they call permanent insurance, which you have your coverage, your benefit of death benefit, and then money goes into the cash value or accumulation values. Okay. It's a little more expensive. So
yeah. And you kind of work with people and try to figure that out.
Absolutely.
Point them in the right direction and stuff.
Takes 2 things to get life insurance. One is to be healthy.
Yep.
And then you have to have the money to pay for it.
Sure.
It's no good without being in force.
Yep. And so I assume the later you get it in life, the higher the premiums are.
Yep. Okay. Yep. And if I see you're a young person, you can get a term policy if you wanted to. and you wanted to convert that before the term expires, say after 20 years, it's a term of 20. You can convert it to one that builds cash value without having to go through the physicals and the health requirements that might be required at a later age when your health might change.
Sure.
So,
okay, cool. Interesting. When a person kind of comes into you, what's like the onboarding process? Like they reach out to you via email, via website?
Yeah, we've been fortunate on the personal lines to get a lot of referrals.
Okay.
On the commercial lines, we approached them.
Yep.
And we did some referrals.
Okay.
But on the personal line side, just ask some questions, get some information, start an email thread. Let's get this going, and then start from there.
And then it's kind of go where they want you to go, huh?
Yeah, I'm not a high pressure guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a competitive person, like to make sales. It's good.
Sure. Yep.
But it's just one of those things where you just try to do the best for people.
Yep.
And hopefully they trust you. That's
working
the main
best
thing.
for them.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think with, your business started in 91, so it's like you're lacking experience, right?
Exactly.
So,
I'm an old guy.
Yeah.
See the gray hair up here.
Yeah. Been around. Anything else you want to kind of share about the insurance industry, your specific company before we sign off here?
Well, I think it's people have to kind of be patient with what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
If I get phone calls and emails every day about why did this go up and this and that go up.
Sure.
And if people are patient, they'll come out of the backside of it. But that's kind of it. It's just do the best you can.
Yep.
Hopefully get a hold of someone that knows what they're doing.
Sure.
And then go from there. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Are you a big book reader?
I'm not really a book reader. I'm more of a movie guy.
Movie guy?
Yeah.
What's the last movie you watched?
The Maverick Top Gun one.
Absolutely. Oh, it's so good.
Yep.
Yeah. I've been getting into books quite a bit, just more in like the self-improvement line of things. And I always like to hear what people read or where they kind of find their inspiration from.
Yeah.
Books or podcasts or whatever.
This is my first time I've been on a podcast, but I like to listen to podcasts when I run.
Okay. Yeah.
Funny enough, have you ever heard Bigfoot and Beyond, that podcast?
No. Is it about Bigfoot?
It's about Bigfoot.
Okay. My son would love that one.
Then. And my wife and I, we enjoyed the show Finding Bigfoot on Animal Planet.
Okay.
And it's the two cast members that do it every one. They have a new week. So yeah.
Interesting. That sounds good.
That's kind of, I like to listen. I'm more of audio and stuff like that. So I've never been a big book reader.
I've got Audible with a few books in my queue, but yeah, podcasts are awesome. So, and there's so many of them. There's like 2 million or more.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So whatever your tastes are, you can probably find something.
Yep, absolutely.
So, well, thank you again for coming out. Good luck to your business and everything, and appreciate the
chance to talk to you. Get to meet you. Absolutely. So
yeah, for sure.
Yep.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.